We are fighting for them.
All right, let's take you back to the top story we are tracking for you this morning, and that is the Sars inquiry, which is currently taking a bit of a break. Mark Kingon, the acting Sars Commissioner, has been on the stand throughout the morning. Our reporter Heidi Jokos has been tracking the story. She joins us now live. Heidi, what a morning it's been. I mean, we had Mark Kingon breaking down in tears. There was laughter in the Sars inquiry. Perhaps just give us an overview of what Mark Kingon's testimony is meant to do today.
It has been quite a morning filled with a lot of emotion here at Sars. But basically, Mark Kingon, who's been the acting commissioner since Tom Moyane was suspended in March, basically just giving his version of events. You must remember that Mark Kingon has been at Sars for a very long time, so he knows the ins and outs of this institution. But he's basically just touching on a number of issues here at Sars, specifically speaking about how 200 employees have been displaced, how the culture here at Sars is just filled with distrust and fear, and how difficult it has been for them to recover, given the extensive damage that they have witnessed here at Sars. You know, he even apologized to the public, to South Africans, to the president, to the minister about what is going on here and about the massive revenue shortfall that Sars is facing. I mean, the details are just too much to go into right now, but, you know, there are issues of customs, of illicit economy going on, and, you know, tax not being paid on that. And just him being emotional because he is trying to deal with so much at the moment. And the reason why they've called him in is to try and get a sense of how it's been for him as an acting commissioner, coming at the back of when Tom Moyane was the commissioner.
Well, Heidi, you touched on it just now, but some of the key issues that he has dealt with is trying to reconstitute those very important teams that were disbanded under suspended Commissioner Tom Moyane. For one, you mentioned it just now, the illicit financial flows. The team dealing with that has now been reassembled. Tobacco, he says, is very high up on the radar. And also, very importantly, the High Court litigation unit, which was also disbanded, that's now hopefully getting back underway.
So, Michelle, they are trying to, you know, reignite and revive all these units that were disbanded under then Commissioner Tom Moyane. This is obviously the evidence that we've been hearing from the Commission. But, you know, specifically speaking to the illicit economy, if I can go into that quickly, we know in the interim report that was released by Judge Nugent this week speaks to that exactly, about the fact that those that are trading illicit commodities such as tobacco are doing so without any constraints. So they are open and free to do so because there is no investigative unit that is tackling that illicit economy. So, you know, we're hearing the acting commissioner basically saying that we need to revive these, we need to bring these units back because we are losing a lot of money. We have a revenue shortfall of 50 billion rand, and, you know, how much more is there with all these illicit economies and units that have been disbanded that tackled these very issues? And looking at the business unit that tackled very high-profile people not paying their taxes. There are just a number of units that have been disbanded and completely broken down, costing taxpayers millions, costing South Africa millions.
Heidi, I think it's important, and this is something that Mark Kingon has pointed out as well, it's important to point out that SARS is still a functioning organization. He says it's not completely bleak. There are still so many incredible people who are a part of the SARS team.
Well, I mean, the judge jokingly said you have 30 days to fix SARS, and then everybody started laughing and said actually it's about 60 days left until his contract comes to an end, whether he'll be renewed as acting commissioner, his term rather. So, you know, he did say that there are very important people still here at SARS, very high-skilled people here at SARS, adding a lot of value, but they have lost a lot of very important people, very high-skilled people, 200 to be exact, have been displaced. And they need those skills. They need those skills to uplift SARS again, to ensure that very important investigation units run properly. For example, the IT department as well, they are struggling there because there is no structure that they can go by. So he is positive, and I think it's important as an acting commissioner to do so, given the fact that there are so many challenges. There needs to be some sort of positivity, which he is picking up on the ground.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks very much for that. Heidi Jokos, our reporter tracking the SARS inquiry. Mark Kingon, the acting SARS commissioner, on the stand throughout the morning.